carb cycling, yet another nutrition strategy that has finally reached the casual fitness enthusiast. So if you're watching this, that might be you. After extensively being used by both athletes and bodybuilders alike, it seems that many people do find carb cycling to be very useful indeed. So, what the hell is it? You see, I used to have the same question, so don't worry guys, I got you. You see, the concept is actually fairly simple. You see, on some days, you'll keep your carb intake relatively low, and then you'll alternate it with other days where you'll go absolutely balls to the wall with all that carby goodness. On these days, protein and fat stay relatively the same each day. The most common cycle ties very closely to your training days. On the days that you're resting, carb intake is low. On the days that you train, ramp up your carb intake to either moderate or heavy intake in respect to the intensity of your training. So, what exactly is the benefit in doing this? Well, on a weight loss diet, you typically go months and months eating at a caloric deficit every single day, which I don't know about you, but that is both physically and mentally fucking exhausting. Additionally, the problem with a long deficit like that is that it'll ultimately lead to an overall drop in your metabolic rate, meaning you'll burn less calories each day. And hell, you might even get to the point, or you might even be at the point right now where you've stopped losing weight altogether. You guys, I have been there, trust me. And honestly, that's kind of a shitty position to be in, considering the whole reason that you've been eating less in the first place is to avoid this exact issue. And that, my friends, is where carb cycling comes in. Yes! By cycling high surplus carb days into your own schedule, you too can fend off the metabolic slowdown of a long deficit. In layman's terms, without getting too sciencey, essentially what this does is it resets the catabolic state of the body with the added carbs. And more importantly, added calories, shifting things from a catabolic state into an anabolic state, which is where you want to be if you want to shred fat and build muscle. Extra carbs also means more glucose and insulin in the bloodstream, providing you with more energy for your workouts. Extra insulin will also mean higher amino intake to your muscle cells, helping you fend off muscle breakdown. And bonus points when you train on the same day, because training will boost your muscle protein synthesis anyways, meaning the extra carbs that you've eaten and the nutrients will help promote muscle growth as well. So they kind of work hand in hand together. And since you're going back to a low carb state very soon, insulin levels will drop and prevent you from storing too much fat. So the end result is that on rest days, you're maximizing the weight and fat loss with a caloric and carbohydrate deficit. And then conversely, on training days, you're maximizing your muscle growth with caloric and carbohydrate surplus. Although carb cycling might sound like a foolproof strategy, it's not. Unfortunately, there are a few drawbacks from this method. Firstly, it requires meticulous and relentless planning. Each and every day, you have to plan your specific carb intake. So if you hate math or you hate having to stick to something that tedious, carb cycling is not for you. And this isn't the easiest thing to adhere to either, right? It's already hard enough finding time to go to the gym. Why the hell would I want to sit around and crunch numbers all day? What is this, math class? Furthermore, there's really no concrete evidence that shows daily carb cycling provides any significant benefits over other nutrition strategies. I mean, to be honest, you might be fine with just having a refeed every once or twice a month to maximize the catabolic effects of dieting. So the big question is, should you try carb cycling? And the answer, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, is it depends. In my personal opinion, perhaps 85% of the people considering daily carb cycling really don't even need it in the first place. You see, bodybuilders like Arnold and Ronnie Coleman use carb cycling to lean out right before the day of a show and are more prone to the catabolic effects of a long-term deficit due to their overall fitness levels. For the average person, you'll probably be fine with just having a nice balanced diet, taking things slow, and planning breaks from time to time when it comes to dieting. You see, carb cycling really only applies to you if you're trying to burn fat and build muscle simultaneously, which is technically possible, yes. However, people that are looking to just purely bulk or cut should be looking to avoid carb cycling altogether. If you're a newbie, I wouldn't even fuck with this. Honestly, if you're bulking, I wouldn't fuck with this either because it might make your bulking endeavors even harder. If you're a newbie and you're cutting, start out with a deficit, thank me later. You see, ultimately, you have to decide and consider if your goals align with the use of carb cycling to begin with. And consider whether or not the added work of painstaking nutrition planning is actually worth it for you. For those that also struggle with plateaus or having trouble sticking to your current diet, then carb cycling might be worth looking into. The decision is ultimately up to you. In fact, you can leave your opinion about it in the comments below. Don't forget to cycle your clicks onto the like and the share button if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to shoot your boy a follow if you want to cycle through my future videos. I'm Brian Glusevich with Athletic Aesthetics. Thank you for watching.